That was kind of, there we go. All right. Bring some damn energy. How are you guys doing? You doing good? Yeah. Put your phone down, man. I'm talking. What are you doing? You out of your freaking mind? All right. Unless you're taking notes, let's do this, right? I'm already chastising the room. Hey, great to be with you. Lee, thanks for that intro. I'm a big fan of Lee's. If you get any chance to get involved with him, I know he took applications today, you should do it. Be honest with you, while guys that we coach, I watch them, they grow and get better and better and better. And one of the people I've been talking about a lot lately is Lee. Just I've seen him. He was already a really impressive guy, but the more he's stepped in, you're watching a dude like step into his power. Have you, any of you that know Lee a while, is that not true? Yes? So if you get a chance to, yeah, absolutely. You get a chance to work with him. I hope you take advantage of it. What I want to do today is I don't like to give like an average talk. I remember the days where no one wanted to listen to me, so I'm always grateful when people do. I don't forget that. And so I've spent more of my life a broke person than I have a rich person. And I spent more of my life someone nobody knew than that other people now do know, right? And so I'm really grateful for it. It's not something that I take lightly. I don't take your time lightly either. So I have a huge ambition here, which is I'd like this next hour to help change your life. So I've set the bar high. We'll see whether or not we accomplish that, but at least make some kind of a difference in your life. So a couple things about sales I just want to say first. Facts tell, stories sell. And all the people that I know that are the best at influence or teaching influence are great storytellers. Their ability to make a point through a story is better than any fact that they can give you. And what I want to do first, because I want to set this straight because that was a really great introduction, I'd like you to know the person that existed prior to all that stuff Lee said. So I'd like to give you a little bit of hope. Is that good? Say yes. Yes. So I am an average, ordinary human being. And I don't like, when I speak, I don't like to be, I used to say I'm below average, but the fact is I don't think that's really true. I actually think everybody's born with giftedness. I think every single human being's born with some natural giftedness. And when you figure out what those gifts are, you use them in the service of other people, you start living a pretty blissful life. And for me, it didn't take very long for me to find out what my gifts were. It's not IQ. It's not that I'm 6'4". I'm not the strongest dude in the world. I'm not the funniest dude in the world. But I am a pretty good communicator, and I'm a really good listener. I love being present with people. And one of my gifts is I sincerely care about people. And you ought to be thinking about what your gifts are. Because it's easy. You look at guys that I coach. If you look at some of the golfers that I coach or the UFC guys, my guy I coached last weekend won, Dominic Cruz. Michael Chandler's another buddy of mine. You look at these people that I work with, they could see their physical gifts. Chandler's got quads that are like this big, right? Or LeBron 6'8" can jump out of a gym. We know those are the gifts. But what are your gifts? Like if you could take a real inventory of them, I ask high performers, even like you guys, what's your giftedness? And you'd have a hard time telling me. Because you discount what they are, right? You discount, maybe you're not like for me, we just did an IQ test in my family. I was 4th out of 4 people in my own house, right? That's a true deal. Not that I'm dumb, just I don't have a high IQ. I've been able to identify what my gifts are. I can transfer energy to people. I will outwork your ass, right? I'm intense. Those are gifts. And when you start to leverage your gifts, it doesn't feel like work anymore. So I always had these gifts that were mine. You've got yours. If you'll take an inventory of what they are, you'll be a more wealthy, productive person. I've been able to build a significant 9-figure net worth in my life. I've been able to coach some of the top athletes, entertainers, politicians on the planet, and I'm a goober. So I want you to think if a goober dude like me can end up doing that stuff, what could you accomplish? And I don't say that to you, and I thank you. I don't say that to be self-deprecating either. I'm a really goofy dude. And if you left me to my own devices, I'd lay around watching Jerry Springer, eating Cheetos all day long. I like that. I'm lazy. People always ask my wife, what's it like to be with Mylett? He's always maxing out. She's like, it's not really that big of a deal. Right? Like, he's got a lot of routines and disciplines that because I met my wife when I was 5. So I'm 50 next month. I've known her 45 years. We're sick of each other, I'm going to be honest with you. But, no, I'm kidding. She's hot as hell. If you've seen her too, you'd be like, dude, I thought you closed her when you had money. Nope, I closed her when I was broke. So, but let me give you an idea of who I am. Can we put that thing up on the screen? Y'all need to see something. Where's that clicker at? It's on one of these 2 tables. Well, probably I picked the wrong one. Thank you. All right, who am I really? I've always wanted to be somebody. Anybody relate to that? Say yes or no. Yes. I mean, I need to be somebody. I don't want to be. There's a bunch of jokers want to be somebody. I need to be somebody, right? Are you like that or not? Like, see, the separator I've always found, whether it's Brady or I've had Mickelson on my show, Tony Robbins, whoever the heck you've seen on my show before. The guy, Randolph, who founded Netflix, the separator's like, they need it. I need it. I needed to be somebody. I wasn't playing with my life. When I was 30 years old, I had my first heart attack. My uncle, I'm Italian, and my family, kind of your godfather's a big deal. My dad's brother died at 50 of a massive heart attack, and I looked just like him. So I've always not played with my life. So I might not be the fastest, the strongest, the smartest, none of that crap, but I will outwork your ass, and I flat out want it more than you. And if you're that type of a dude, I'm going to show you how you can win. I'm going to give you some of the exact things I did. I don't care if you're 65 years old or 25 years old in this room. One of my companies, I just promoted a 74-year-old dude who's had 2 strokes, went from nothing to start with us bankrupt, making $2 million a year right now. So I don't care what your age is. But I've always wanted to be somebody. You probably heard that term, fake it till you make it. Any of you ever done that before? Okay, some of you may know this, but Lee wanted me to tell you this. I'm the ultimate fake it till you make it. When I told you where I was a goober and you see me, I just bought Larry Ellison's Global Express jet. Guy runs a little company called Oracle, 5th richest dude in the world. I own his jet now. I'm a brag. You know the reason I flew commercial here? Because I'm fixing the shower on my own jet. I just wanted to say that out loud. I got a shower on my damn jet. Right? Like, think about that crap. My wife's like, the Mile High Club. I'm like, babe, we're doing it in the shower in the Mile High Club. Right? And we grew up in Pomona, California. Let me tell you something. We're not exactly hood rats, but we lived right next to the hood, and I could see the rats like that close. So we're kind of hood rats, right? So I know what that's like. My first job, I was an electrician. Then I was a busboy at the whole enchilada. That was an upgrade because they let me go as an electrician because I couldn't show up to work and get there by 6 a.m. And then I was a bag boy at Safeway. And then I worked at an orphanage that changed my life. And then I became in the financial business and got wealthy. There's nothing about me. So I wanted to be rich. I started in a financial company. I'm like, hey, I can't be driving around like, I had a Honda CRX. And everywhere I go to appointments, by the way, someone broke into my car. It's a true story. Someone broke into my Honda CRX, and instead of, the radio had already been stolen. I was parked at LA University. This is no joke. I had an appointment there. I came out. They stole the passenger seat. Who the hell steals a passenger seat? Like, are you looking around? I got to get a passenger seat of a Honda CRX, right? Dude steals my passenger seat. I assume it was a dude. So I'm like, I got to get a car. I'm driving around. Oh, the Rock is my passenger seat, trying to be this big baller financial dude. Any of you relate to that? Like, maybe even COVID did it to you. Like, hey, I was doing pretty good, but right now I'm pretending as hell, right? And oftentimes, all our careers, we can feel like an imposter. I remember even as I started to do, I'm like, this is a fluke. They're going to figure out I fluked this. Somehow I'm going to come back to where I belong. I thought that for years. I was worried for years I was going to lose what I had gained because they're going to figure out what a dumbass I am. Because I've been told that when I was a kid over and over again. So I thought, man, I need to drive a Mercedes for people to take me damn serious. The problem is I had this like champagne dream on like a Schlitz beer budget. So I'm reading in the Penny Saver, and it says, Kit Car Mercedes. Here's one of the articles right here. Up for sale or trade. I have a one-of-a-kind 1997 Mercedes-Benz 600 convertible kit car that's built on an 88 Chrysler LeBaron frame. You think I'm playing with you? I read this article in the Penny Saver. I'm like, hey, what is a kit car? I started Googling it. Turns out you can get a Chrysler LeBaron, strip that sucker of the frame, and you can weld onto it a Mercedes body. Everybody think you have a Mercedes. I'm not playing with you. I did this. $4,000 instead of $44,000. I'm like, that's a damn deal. Right? And so, no, it gets better. The deal, though, is if you really know cars, it's 2 feet longer. So when you're driving it, car people are pointing at you like, what the hell is that thing? And it rattles. So I find this one for $4,000. I drive down to Dana Point, and I meet this young lady. I'm pretty sure there may be some methamphetamine involved in her existence at the time. And I'm like, tell me about your kit car. And she comes out, she kind of waddles out. She goes, well, this one's not exactly like the other ones. I'm like, so they weld these things together? She goes, yeah, typically, but this one is Velcroed. It's Velcroed. I'm like, explain that to me. She said, we couldn't afford the welding, so my ex-boyfriend Velcroed the kit to the car. I'm not playing with you. It's a true story. So she goes, I'm just warning you, if you buy this thing, the heater blows full time, because it's a LeBaron, and if you pull up to a stoplight too fast and hit the brakes, this front headlight will fly out into that intersection, because the Velcro's loose. I'm like, I got it, no problem. I give her the $4,000, and I start driving around this kit car. Now, thank God, you think I'm social media star now? I'd have been viral as hell back in 1997. Because what I would do more than 100 times, Mr. Jets and all that stuff here, more than 100 times, there you go, full fiberglass body. By the way, do you have any idea which one's the real one? Can you tell from the picture? Which one? The left? Which is the left? The blue or the gray? What's real? Which one? Gray's the real one? Right on. Nong. Nope, the gray one is the fake one. That's my old ride. See that left front light right there? Notice the little gap right there, isn't that awesome? That left front light, more than 100 times I have pulled up to an intersection. Thank God there was no social media. There weren't cameras on phones back in the day. I pulled up in my cheap suit, and that front headlight went whoop out into an intersection. I would get out of my car, stop freaking traffic. You imagine you sitting at a headlight watching some asshole pull out his, I'm picking up my headlight. I would walk back to my own car, stick it back on, and then jump back in the car again. And just look straight ahead. Except about 20 of those times, I was so wound up and doing it fast, I slammed the door, fell right back off the car. Velcro got me. I lived in that car for 2 years. I actually got arrested in it. Got arrested in it because I got pulled over. I had my whole sales team at a retreat like this. They all thought it was a Mercedes. I had lied to them. I said, this is the first ever hybrid. Because at that time, Mercedes and Chrysler had merged. No joke, go look it up. And I'm like, hey, this is the first ever hybrid car. These are going to be all over the place. That's why the inside looks like a LeBaron, the outside's a Benz. Lied my ass off. Facts tell, stories sell. So we're at a retreat like this. I got 20 of my top dudes with me. And I've got a guy with me. My best friend is a guy named Dan Charlier. Dan Charlier is an African-American man. Okay? He's my best friend. I was best man in 3 of his weddings. So trust me, I'm best friends with him. Okay? And Charlier, we're going to a place called Lodi, California. Charlier says to me, hey man, there's no brothers in Lodi. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, dude, we're going to get pulled over in Lodi. I'm like, get out of here. This whole race, white thing, you're crazy. He goes, brother, there's no brothers in Lodi. Sure enough, we leave this retreat. We're driving. I get lost. We get pulled over. He goes, I told you. I told you. Next thing I know, my whole sales team is 20 cars back about 100 yards watching this take place. Cop comes up to the car. He says, stick your hands out of the car. I said, sir, what is this all about? He says, get your hands out of the car. Get my hands out, opens the door, cuffs me, puts me in the back of a police car. I'm back there for about 30 minutes. Charlie Ace to my right is like, I told you, dude, we are driving while black. And I'm like, Dan, I don't know that that's necessarily the case. He's like, brother, trust me. Finally, after about 30 minutes, the guy comes up, the cop, I said, sir, what am I being arrested for? Now other cop cars have come up, they're shining lights in my car. I know my whole sales team's back there like, Mylett's always wound up. He's probably got some coke or something in the car, right? Which, by the way, I've never done any drugs in my life, right? Well, testosterone, but that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, so he pulls up to the car. I said, sir, what is this all about? He says, it's a stolen vehicle and you know it. I'm like, stolen vehicle? Did I not register the car? And finally, I'm like, oh my gosh, the plates probably show Chrysler LeBaron. So sure enough, he comes back to the car. I said, sir, why do you believe the car's stolen? He goes, they're fake plates. I said, no, sir. This is going to sound crazy. That's actually a Chrysler LeBaron you're looking at. He's like, nah, is this turning into a DUI, boy? I'm like, no, sir, it's a Chrysler LeBaron. If you go pull on my front door, it'll come right off. It's Velcroed on there. You imagine the look on his face. What the hell did you say? I said, the front door is Velcroed onto the car, sir. Go pull on it. Sure enough, him and the other cop walk up, pull on my front door. They are falling out laughing. Spins my door and throws it into the bushes. I get out of the car and he tells me to take off. That's the story of me wanting to be somebody. So I don't know where you're at right now, but are you slightly ahead of a Velcroed together Mercedes? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, that's me. You're welcome. Don't ever tell anybody that story again, okay? Give me a round of applause. That's a pretty good story, right? All right. So if I can go from that to, whatever the heck's going on with me right now, you could probably do something pretty big. I tell you that because you're going to remember this. You should tell that story to your sales guys too. When they're like, I don't know if I can make it. Go, look, I know a dude who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This MFer was driving a Velcroed together car. Okay? Now, how the heck did I do that? What did I become? What changed with me where things changed? I want you to write this down. I read a book called Selling the Dream by a guy named Guy Kawasaki about that same time. Guy Kawasaki was the guy that sort of marketed Macintosh for Apple. Steve Wozniak's become a pretty good buddy of mine because I had him come speak to my coaching group. So I'm very, very familiar with what made Apple work. Only the greatest company in the history of mankind, right? Or most influential anyways. I'm very familiar with what made that company work. And what made it work is they had unbelievable technical people, but they had a dude that led that company who was a crazy man, like I'm a crazy man, named Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs didn't have a high IQ. He wasn't an overly technical human being. He was an intense, psycho, crazy, and here's what he was great at doing. He was a great storyteller. If you're going to lead your company, if you're going to take it to the next level, you and your team had best be getting better at telling stories that move people. You're too much about the facts, you're too much about your scripts, you're too much about your presentation, you might even be too much about running numbers. You gotta be able to tell a story that grips people emotionally, that shifts them, to create a movement. Are you with me on that? Say yes. You're like, what's that got to do with roofing and all this other stuff? It has everything to do with it. Everything to do with it is a story you tell and how you frame things that gets me to not only participate, but close now and refer you to people. So you think, well, that doesn't matter, we're doing well. You can always do better at this. Write this down. The greatest leaders are evangelical about their cause. They are cause-oriented leaders. They find a way to take an average, ordinary product and somehow build a movement and a cause around it by becoming evangelical about their cause. Evangelical about the money your people might be able to make, or evangelical about the difference you and your company make for families. To the extent you get good at becoming an evangelical leader, is the extent that you'll be successful. I'll submit this to you because it's mainly men in here. To the extent that you'll be a great father, great leader of your home and your family, is to the extent that you can become evangelical about the cause and the mission your family's on. I'm constantly telling my children, we're going to do something awesome. Our family's special. Since my son was a little boy, every night he go to bed, you're a leader, you're a gladiator, you're the greatest of all time, Max. We're going to do something great as a family. I tell my daughter that all the time. Right? Why? No one told me that crap when I was growing up. I had an alcoholic dad. No one told me. I just hope he came home and didn't get mad. So are you evangelical about your life, about your cause, when people get around you? Maybe you're not loud. I'm not, just so you know, when I walk off this stage, I'm the most introverted person in this room. Ask anybody who knows me. If I'm at a party, I don't talk. I'm quiet. If we were at the mall, brother, and we went to high school together, and I saw you, I'd love to connect, but I'm so quiet and introverted, I'd duck into a store to hide so we don't have to connect. But I had to learn to be a storyteller. I had to learn to transfer energy, to express myself. And I'm not capable of talking about crap I don't believe. I wasn't raised that way. But if you get me believing it, you get me talking about my faith, my family, any New England sports team, and my companies, I will move you. I will move you emotionally because I'm an evangelist about my cause. So what do those leaders have in common? If we go back and look at there, what does Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, my dumbass, Elon Musk, I use Rachel Hollis, and sweet Kris Jenner, who's my neighbor, what do we all have in common? How about this group? Andy Frisella. I purposely put him next to Mother Teresa because I think that's hilarious, right? If you know Andy, he's my business partner in one of my companies. Mark Zuckerberg, and this ain't a political statement. I don't like anything Facebook does. I just have him up there for that reason. MLK, who's my hero, Dwayne Johnson, not real happy with him lately either, and Martha Stewart. What do all those people have in common? In different ways, they became evangelical about their mission and their cause and their company. And that will be the separator for you. You want to build a great company, a great life, a great family, great wealth? I'm evangelical about all of it, all the time. That's a very specific word, by the way, evangelical. What do all they have in common? You got that. What's an evangelist do? A person who seeks to convert others, especially by public preaching, a zealous advocate of a cause. That's what an evangelist does. You must speak about these things, write about these things, post on your social media about it. When your people get around you, it's infectious and repetitive, and you don't tire of saying it over and over. I like when my guys roll their eyes at me. Here he goes again. This is the mission we're on. This is what we're going to do this year. And they're rolling their eyes, and I'm just putting it in their consciousness again and again and again because I'm relentless about it. Amen? Yes? Say yes. So, why? Because our obsessions become our possessions. You've heard this before, but if you really began to think about what you think about on a regular basis, most of you are thinking about what you're worried about, you're afraid of, and what you're concerned or anxious about. And you don't take control of your thoughts. You don't take control about what you're putting in your mind. I'm a decent example of making that shift. I do take control of it. And what I do when I know I'm having ones that don't serve me, I go, I'm intentional about it. When you're intentional about something, it loses its power over you. Once you're aware you're doing something, it can't affect you like it can when you're not aware. So I'm a negative thinker. I love to worry. I have this habit. Now I'm going to be overly cheesy with you because it's all dudes in here, but you have an emotional home. You have a series of emotions you live with regularly, don't you? Yes. Regardless of what the F is going on in your life, you find a way to get these emotions. Those emotions could be bliss, ecstasy, passion, joy, peace, faith. But they could also be worry, stress, anger, depression, frustration, concern, anxiety, aren't they? And you have a home, and you've had it most of your life, and it started when you were a little boy or a little girl. And because you've done it over and over and over again, even though you know they don't serve you, you will find a way on a very regular basis to get those damn emotions. You will. The quality of your emotions is going to be the quality of your life. And if you don't begin to become more intentional about the emotions, see, all of you this year wrote down a bunch of things you want to achieve. So did I. My outcomes for the year. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to save this much money. We're going to help that many people. I've got a list of all my outcomes. You and I have gotten pretty good at achieving things we put our mind to, haven't we? You're getting pretty good at it. Maybe not last year. Some of you I've been talking to here told me you had your best year. But you're damn good at getting what you want, aren't you? Including the negative things. You're damn good at getting that stress emotion, aren't you? Man, you will find a damn way to get that emotion. Now, since you're so good at getting what you want, what if you set, and I'm serious, what if you set an outcome to begin to achieve certain emotions on a regular basis? Because what you've done is you've deluded yourself into thinking, if I can get $5 million in the bank, or $10 million in the bank, or I get one of these houses Mylett has, or I get that hot so-and-so girl, or I get to this level of influence, then I'll have those emotions I want. That ain't how it works. Your subconscious and unconscious mind has done this millions of times. It's a map, and you will find a way. Trust me. I was worth 30, 40, 50 million dollars. Still really not very happy person. I was worth 100 million, still not very happy. Married the girl of my dreams. Built my first mansion, built another mansion, still not very happy because I didn't get outcomes for emotions. I got outcomes for stuff. I want you to have a bunch of stuff. Trust me, I want you to have a bunch of achievement. But if you'd start to become more intentional about, I'm going to find some peace every day. I'm going to find some faith every day. I'm going to find some solitude every day. You'll find that when you get those emotions, as good as you are, is you'll get more of the stuff. People are like, what happened to you? I went from 50 million to probably $500 million in 5 or 8 years. And the difference was, don't quote me on that, the difference was I started to get the quality of life I wanted, the quality of emotions I wanted. And you got to get those, brothers. If you're going to lead your family, you're going to lead your mom and dad, you're going to lead your life, because you're not getting out of here alive. You ain't getting out of here alive. Why don't you start to be a little happier, a little bit more joyous, a little bit more giving, man? You'd be so happy you did. The fact is, the strongest men are the ones who are willing to be the most vulnerable, are the ones who are willing to give joy, give passion, give peace to people. Those are the strongest men in the world, right? Right? We've all been wired a little bit differently. In fact, you know what? I'm going to cut the crap. I'm going to get you emotional. Forget it. I'm going to show this video, guys, in a minute. Let me say something to you. How many of you men in here, and women, but it's mainly men, how many of you have children? Raise your hand if you have children. Okay. I'm going to give you a secret. I think I'm the way I am because of what I watched my dad do. In other words, I'm not an alcoholic, but my dad was a dude who get angry pretty quick, get stressed pretty quick. So your life may look a whole lot different externally than the people that raised you. Maybe you even made a decision. I'm not going to be like these people. And maybe the external part of your life's not like it. But what about the internal part? You getting all the joy? Let's be honest, don't answer me. Has it been all it's been cracked up to be to get where you are? Or didn't you think you'd feel better about yourself by the time you got here? You thought you'd feel better about yourself. The crazy thing about it is you could have given yourself the gift the whole time of feeling that way. And your kids, you know when you go to one of your kids' Little League games, there's 25 kids out there, 9 on each side plus the dugout. Which kid do you see? You see your little dude, don't you? You got a little kid, you go to their Christmas recital, there's 35 kids up there singing away. Somehow you look at yours the whole damn time, don't you? Except maybe the kid lip syncing in the weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Well, guess what? All they see is you, Dad. All they see is you. You may not realize it or not, but someday they're going to figure out who you are. They love you because you're dad, but at some point, are they proud of you? Do they respect you? Are you a man making a difference in the world? Those of you that don't have children but have parents or siblings, they know who the heck you are. You ladies here, mama, do they know who you are? Someday you figure out who you are. They figure it out, man. And you know what they want more than anything than you to be all this other stuff? Is dad happy? Is my dad happy? And they know when you're lying. They don't see anybody else. The whole prism of the world of what they think they can experience, you're providing them. And it's not the stuff, it's the emotions. It's the emotions they learn from you. They learn how to live. They learn their emotional home. And they know whether or not dad is happy. I want you to begin more conscious of this. You may be running out of time with it. In my case, they've left my house already. My son's gone. My daughter I got one more year with. But I'm showing them a version of me that's happier and more joyous and more giving in the quiet times. They know. I'm going to show you a video. Watch this. Can you guys show that?
Okay. Daddy is the sweetest daddy in the world. Daddy is the most handsome. The smartest. The most clever. The kindest. He is my Superman. Daddy wants me to do well at school. Daddy is just great, but he lies. He lies about having a job. He lies about having money. He lies that he's not tired. He lies that he's not hungry. He lies that we have everything. He lies about his happiness. He lies because of me.
I got you. So I told you I want to change your life today. I want you to at least think about your life. Does that resonate with you, yes or no? Hey, man, let me say something to you. Why don't you just give yourself a break? Why don't you just be a little happier right now? Just give yourself the gift, brother, sister. You can do that right now. In this moment, you can intend to decide that you're just going to begin to see things. You have a thing in your brain called the reticular activating system. It's what filters out everything in the world that's not important to you and filters in what is. So that's why you're pretty good at sales and building the company, because you see prospects and deals and ideas and innovations everywhere. What if you started to filter into that things that just brought you bliss and peace and happiness? Just give yourself a break, man. You deserve it. You were born to do something great with your life. You were born to do something awesome. You were also born to be happy. And you think, man, if I start having all of this happiness crap you're talking about, I'm going to lose my drive. I'm going to lose my edge. This angry, this intense, this worried version of me keeps the boogeyman away. That's what keeps me working. That's what you think. I used to think it too. Truth is, There's a thing called blissful dissatisfaction. There's a difference between happiness and satisfaction. You can be simultaneously incredibly blissful and still totally dissatisfied. I'm a blissfully dissatisfied human being. I'm more blissful than I've ever been in my life, totally dissatisfied. Still want to win, still want to kick somebody's butt, still want to do something great with my life, but I'm not getting out of here. Here's what happened to me. I was building a mansion, my second big house, and I'm all wound up one day in California. I walk in, there's all these guys probably in the country illegally. They were working on my kitchen, right? And I'm in there. These guys are making no money. They've left their families. They're just trying to get enough money to send back home and maybe have food that night. I'm walking into my dadgum mansion I'm building with my wife and my baby, pissed off about some call I just had, living in complete stress. And I look over, they got mariachi music playing. They're dancing and laughing as they're doing their job. And I thought to myself, if life were counted by the emotions we experience, and it is, they're kicking my ass right now. Who the hell am I to be living this miserable? These guys have nothing and they find a way to get joy. So I'm sharing this with you because you're all high achievers and you're all trying to make a comeback or grow your business. Don't lose the emotional part of your life just to go win and get more stuff. Y'all, you didn't think I was going to talk about this, did you? Pretty good stuff though, yeah? Something to think about. Or did I completely lose you? Let me know. Are you with me on this, yes or no? Yes? All right, so let me show you something. Now we're going to get intense. Get my book, by the way. It's called Max Out Your Life. I'm putting the screen up here, guys. You can get my book. I got another one coming next year. This one's good. It's like a booklet. It's like 100 pages. You can read it in a day. It's got all kinds of tactics and strategies. If you don't have the $9 or whatever it is, don't get it. Follow me on social media. Go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Listen to my stuff. It's good. I'm going to brag for a minute, one time. I've already told you what an idiot I am. I produce the best content in the world by a mile. I'm just going to tell you, it's the most tactical, the most detailed, the most inspirational, the most real, because I'm real. I've actually built something. I've actually done something. And I don't come to events to sell you stuff. Sorry, I get emotional about it because I want you to win. I want you to be better. All my stuff is free. Okay? And I got a podcast you should listen to. I got a coaching program called theartesyndicate.com. All right, so now we're going to get intense. Okay, I'm a Christian man. I want to say this first. I'm a Christian man.
Thank you.
My children... Max was 3 years old. We're in the back of the car one day, and he said the F word. And my wife's dad was a pastor, her brother's a pastor. I said, where in the world he had never heard me cuss before. I said, where'd you learn the word? He goes, Mama says it every time somebody cuts her off, Daddy. So he learned a bad word. My son had never heard me cuss until the story I'm about to tell you. But if I don't cuss telling you the story, it won't be real. So I'm about to say some bad words. Are you all okay with that? Say yes, because it's a real deal. It really happened, okay? So I want to talk to you about winning now. Okay, we got the emotional part of our life, now we need to win. Here's the deal. You gotta quit playing around. Time's running out on you. I don't care how old you are. It was yesterday, brother, I was your age. I was cool, sexy, and young. Now I'm old, beat up, and achy, okay? Okay, let me tell you, time flies. Time flies. I'm 50 freaking years old next month. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. 50 years old next month. My son, I'm the type of dad, you can put that up on the screen. I'm the type of dad, man. Because I was an athlete, I played college baseball, I played Division I college baseball. I was a good player, I wasn't a great player. I had a catastrophic injury that formed a tumor. I started to lose part of my right leg that ended my career. It probably would have ended eventually anyways, but my career ended. So when I had a son, I did not want to be that dad. Any of you have boys in sports or girls in sports, you know that dad? You know the dad I'm talking about? The crazy dad? The guy that thinks his 5'6", 240-pound son's going to play in the NFL. You know that dude, right? You should laugh at that. That's funny as hell, right? Has no genetic chance whatsoever of ever playing professional sports, but this dude's going to turn him into one. So when my son started playing sports, I'm just going to be honest with you. My son is not athletically gifted. My daughter is. Bless his heart. In fact, Max was so bad when he played baseball, we for years could not figure out whether this poor kid was left or right-handed. And I'm dead serious when I tell you this. To this day, I still don't know. He eats right-handed. He writes left-handed. He can't throw or catch. You cannot play catch with a baseball with my son because he will probably get hit in the face. To this day. He's just not athletic. We put him in every sport. Football, flag football, he was the kid who blocked. You know which kids block, right? Right? You know what I'm talking about. Basketball, no bueno. He went an entire season and did not score a basket. Okay? Baseball, which was my sport, I got on the best hitting coaches on the planet. We just called him a switch hitter because we had no idea. So finally he stops playing sports. I'm like, you know what? But he's a hard worker. He's watched his dad work hard. Golf. And then, of course, when he started playing golf, left or right-handed, I had no idea. Still probably not sure. My son started playing in tournaments. We moved out to the desert. This is a picture of us. And I was this dad. I used to tell Max, hey, Max, you know Daddy loves you whether you finish first or last. You ever say that to your kids? I can't love you more if you win. My son started to take that stuff very seriously. And so we would go out, and where we lived, I moved where a bunch of professional golfers live and their sons. And so the tour my son played on, your dad caddied for you. So I want you to picture, you're walking around, I'm carrying his bag 4 or 5 hours. I'd show up to the golf course, tattoos, Adidas pants on, tennis shoes, tank top. My kid's got some used set of golf clubs from Roger Dunn, ragamuffin little outfit. You can see it right there. That's not me, that's me and him playing golf right there. And then we play against these kids. Dad played on the PGA Tour. He's got this perfect outfit that identically matches his son, best golf clubs, best instructors in the world. Everybody we played with were pros. And so my son, we would play. My son's such a good boy. I always want him to be happy for everybody else. My son played on this tour. I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you. He played 32 tournaments. He finished last in 32 tournaments. Not third or fifth or 18th, last in 32 tournaments. And we had a good time. We get in the car, I said, hey, have some fun, buddy. He shot 104, winner shot 68. You have fun, buddy? Hey, Dad, that was awesome. Just got to be with my daddy today. And I'm like, good, I'm glad you had fun. Every week we would do this. Walk around, finish last, finish last, finish last. Did you have fun? Don't worry about it. My son's such a good kid. He'd top his first drive into a lake. You'd hit a good drive. Nice shot, Brian. Such a good shot. Everyone loved Max. Guy makes a big putt. Max was more excited for you when you made a big putt than you were that you made a big putt. Not a competitive bone in his body. And I thought it was great. I was building his self-esteem, building his self-confidence. He's not going to play professional golf anyways. And we would go week after week after week. And I thought I was, being a good dad. And then this happened. He's warming up that day. See what he's wearing there? It's a good golf swing. He's in a good position. Max's problem wasn't his swing. Max's problem was up here. Max's problem was up here. He didn't believe in himself. He didn't want to compete. He didn't really want to get after it. And so we played 9 holes that day. 2 professional guys are in our group. And here comes the bad news. We're at the turn. There's about a 100-yard walk between the 9th and 10th hole. And on this tour, the kids get a boxed lunch at the turn. We're playing with 2 dudes. The first dad has won on the PGA Tour, and his dad won on the PGA Tour. And now we're playing with his son. There's 3 generations. The other guy's a good player, and his dad played on tour too. And one of the dads says, we're walking, having a good time. Max is 11 back. 11 out of first place after 9 holes. And we get to the turn, and you have to go get the sandwiches, but they got to go hit. And one of the dads turns and says, hey, boys, you guys go ahead up there. We'll walk up to the deal. Max is out of it. He'll go grab your lunch for you. And Max goes, yeah, I'll get it. And he starts to walk. I said, stop. I said, what the fuck did you just say to my son? Sorry, I'm going to be real with you. I said, what the fuck did you just say? I said, we don't get your lunch, dude. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to. You don't ever speak to my boy that way. I said, tell you what we're going to do. You guys go up to the tee box. I'll go get the lunch. Max, you stay right here right now. Now remember, this is, I love you, son. Never heard me cuss in his life. Now he's like, Dad, right? I got a tank top on. Max is 10 years old. I said, get over here. I came down. I said, get over here. We're going to fucking win today. He goes, what, Dad? I'm scared. What, Dad? What about, you love me with her? I go, that's out the window. We're going to fucking win today. No one speaks to us like that. You hear me? And I'm shaking him. But I'm also anchoring it. Big emotional state, and I'm touching him. I said, we're going to fucking win today, Max. Well, Dad, I said, Max, listen to me. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're changing shirts. We're putting on your winning shirt. He had another shirt in his golf bag. I changed his identity physically. I said, you throw this jersey on. I said, come here. We're going to win today. Here's what we're going to do. No practice swings. Dad, I've never done this. We didn't line up putts. I let him pick his clubs. I said, I'm going to pick every club you hit. You're going to pick every club you hit. No practice swings. You execute. You got a beautiful swing, Max. You got a better swing than all of these guys out here. You're more flexible. You can hit it longer than most of them. We're going to win. Now remember, he's 11 back with 9 holes. I said, we're going to win. He said, okay, Daddy. I said, okay. I said, now listen, you go up to the tee, you hit the 3-wood. Don't hit that driver, because he sprays his driver. I said, you hit that 3-wood. I'm shaking. Look at this. You think I'm kidding? You see that? I said, you hit that 3-wood. No practice swings. You get up there and smooth it, Max. You smooth it. Okay, Dad. And I watch him, my little boy. My heart's breaking because I've never made him compete before. And I'm watching him walk. Max walk like this. All the way to the tee box, I'm getting the sandwich. I want to beat the shit out of this dad who said my kid, right? Right? I'm the nice guy. I'm the Christian guy. We're going to have bubbles and gum when we're done here. And I watch Max from a distance walk up, grabs this through. Here's how bad Max was. You ever watch any of the know golf? My son can't even tee the ball. I'll never forget this. You know, normal players, like, they tee it up, they get behind it. Max was always like, you know, trying to get the ball to balance on the tee. That uncoordinated. Finally gets the ball to balance on the tee. He comes back, no practice swing. Whoosh, whoosh, right down the pooper, right down the middle. And I see it. I'm like, we're in business. And I kind of watch Max. He kind of hits it. He kind of flips his club a little bit. If I'm a distance, I'm like, all right. I get up there. I go, give me the club, man. I said, nice shot. And I'm walking down. I said, we're going to win today, Max. We're going to win today, Max. We're going to win today, Max. That was awesome. You smoked it. You're 3 woods longer than their friggin' driver. He gets up there. I said, okay, I've never done this. Now I'm getting specific in detail. Before it was like, hey, hit a good shot. Now I'm like, look, hit this 8-iron. I want it 10 feet left of the hole. He goes, okay, Dad. I said, no practice swings. Sure enough, he gets up, hits it about 20 feet left of the hole. He's got a 20-footer now for a birdie. This kid hasn't made a birdie in his life, right? We get to the green. Everybody marks their ball. Normally, what's Max do? He walks up to the ball, doesn't mark it, putts, picks it up. Good putt, Brian. Nice birdie, right? So he gets up to the green. I said, hey. He gets ready to putt it. I go, you didn't even line it up. I said, take a look at the putt. He doesn't even know what he's looking at, right? He's like, okay, Dad, yeah, all right, I got you, okay. Walks on the other side. I can walk around it, just like a pro. Walks around it. He's like, okay, Dad. God's so good, you guys. He delivers the moment when you need it. Max gets over the putt. He goes, Dad, I think it's about 2 feet left to right. I don't know either, Max. I'm telling him, yeah, that sounds good, dude. Pulls the putter back. Drains it. Birdie. Okay, both those guys make bogey. Now we're 9 back. This is where God comes in. Next hole, I'm like, you know what? Smash the driver, Max. I'm like, shit, right? Smash the driver, buddy. He's like, all right. I said, you got this. Bam! Smokes the driver. All 3 boys smoke the driver, except now I watch something. Max starts to walk in front of me. Now he's walking like this down the fairway. Totally different human being. I'm like, oh, he walks like me now. He's walking like his dad, right? We get down there. It's a par 5. He's got 225 yards in. He's 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. He's got 225 yards. Both these other boys lay up. I said, Max, we got to make up some ground. Smash this 3-wood on the green. He kind of looks at me. I said, hit it. No practice swings. There's a lake in front of the green. There's a block wall with rocks on it in front. Max walks up. Whew. I'm like, phew, good shot. I'm like, Jesus, please give this boy a break. Whoosh. Please, Lord, please. And it comes down, hits the wall. Whew. Right up in the air. I'm like, crap. And I kind of do this, and Max goes, yeah, Daddy. And I go, what? It hit the wall, went forward, and rolled to about 6 feet away from the hole. That's God. That ain't me, right? That's God. I'm like, all right. Little Ian drops one in the lake. Little Mikey drops one in the lake. We're sitting on the green with an eagle putt. I'm like, Max, knock this sucker in. Take a look at it, walk it off. Same bull crap. He doesn't know what he's looking at. He looks around, looks at it, gets up, makes an eagle. We go birdie eagle with the new shirt on. Birdie eagle, right? Now Max is like, Dad, we're going to win this thing. I'm like, we are, buddy. We're going to win. And we get all the way to 18. He's down 1. We've never even met in the tournament. We've never even talked about this crap before. He's down 1 going into 18. There's a lake in front of the green again. I said, smash the driver, Max. It's you and Ian. Ian was the other boy left. I said, smash this thing, man. Max is walking around like, I own this place now, right? Kind of one of these deals. I got it, Dad. I got it. Sure enough, bangs it down the middle. They're both about 8 feet away from each other. And I hear Ian's dad say, don't hit it in the lake. I go, Max, he's going to hit it in the fucking lake. He's going to hit it in the lake. My son's like, this language, Dad. I'm like, don't, just today, right? Right, just today. And so, sure enough, Ian dunks it in the lake. I'm like, Max, this smoothie, put a smoothie on it, buddy. Hit this 8-iron 10 feet. We're getting the hell out of here. We're going to win this thing. And he does. He hits it about 15 feet left, except Ian comes up with the clutchest shot ever and hits his next one to about that close, taps in. So Max makes the putt, he wins. If he 2 putts, we tie and go to a playoff. Here's where I'm stupid. I go, hey, it's a quick putt. Don't hit this thing too far past the hole. We 2-putt, we go to a playoff. You don't say that. My son goes, I swear to you on my children, okay? My son goes, Dad, I'm going to make it. I go, okay, then make it. dunks it in. Yeah! He jumps up, yeah, Dad! There's nobody there. There's no crowd. I'm picking him up, running on. The other dads are like, our kids win every week. I'm like, this is the greatest moment of my damn life, Yeah! And Max couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe he won. And it changed his life. Let me show you something. There he is with his medal after he won. Look at that little face. Now he's got his new shirt on, right? Right? And I know you look at that picture, you're like, he still stands like an unathletic dude. I know, but still, look at that. That changed his life. This is now me and him playing father-sons. You can look at that one. What's that say right there? Mylett, somewhere on there, 64. That's a pretty good score he shot that day. And that's when he's about 14. That's me and him now, playing in Cabo. He's a little bit bigger than his dad now. By the way, he's lost 80 pounds since that picture, gotten fit. And this is him signing his college scholarship to go play golf. Right? So, why do I tell you that? Right? That cool? That's awesome. All right. I got chills. Why do I tell you that? Because that day, we decided to stop playing golf, and we decided to start winning at golf. And you got to stop playing with your business. You have to resolve yourself today that you're going to win in business, that you're going to dominate, that you're not average and ordinary. There has to become a point where you make a decision. We're going to dominate. We're here to win. We are not here to play. And you got to have a company that decides it's going to win. And that takes some intestinal fortitude. It takes a decision, and it takes you being evangelical about your cause. So you can get all these emotions you want, but as a man, you still got to win. To be what you're worth, you still got to win. Right? And that's what I want you to get out of today. You got to decide you're going to win. If you're going to win in your family, if you're going to win in your personal life, I'm where I'm at because I just flat decided I'm going to be a player. I just decided it. I'm not special. I come from a Velcroed Mercedes. I come from a dysfunctional family. But I decided at some point, I get to choose who I am. The world doesn't tell me who I am. I'm not that small, introverted athlete with an alcoholic dad with no confidence. I write these chapters. Me and God write these chapters. I got the best co-author on the planet. He made me and you in his image and likeness. He made you to do something great with your life. That's no BS. Too many of us forget this. Too many of us forget where we come from. We come from greatness, the DNA of the King of Kings. I don't even care if you're a person of faith. Trust me, you should have some. The only explanation for where I am is there must be an amazing God in heaven who's blessing me on a regular basis, who loves me and you, by the way, in spite of all the stupid sins we make, because you know you've made a bunch of them. And what you think is all this crap you've done wrong, maybe even while you've been here on this trip, disqualifies you from winning. God takes dudes like me and dudes like you and women like you, and we change the freaking world. That's what he does. And he takes a guy like my son who will outwork you. He's a sweetheart. He's a good boy. He's a Christian boy. He's not just trying to flex all the time. He'll just outwork you. He got that scholarship because before school every day at 5:30, our golf course set up the balls because they know Max comes before school. Then he stays till dark after school. That's why he won. And I think he modeled some of that from his old man. You got to look at how much you're working. You got to work at the effort you're making. You got to the intention you're putting out there. You think it's easy to go make hundreds of millions of dollars? What a joke someone's convincing you with that. It's relentlessness, man. It's crazy. It's pushing past barriers. It's every time you get somewhere, it's wanting to go to the next level. It's also something, write this down, that I teach all my athletes called equanimity. Equanimity is peace under duress. Being able to find peace under duress. Meaning this, it's easy to walk around and say, I'm going to be a peaceful dude, right? Or to create duress. But can you find the emotional control to be at your best under the highest stress levels? Tom Brady, guys, is equanimity at its finest. He's also not the most athletic, but when it matters most, 3rd and 8, do you know what his third down conversion rate is like as a quarterback? People don't understand quarterbacks. 3rd and long, there's nobody in the history of football even remotely close. Not the big drive, he's great at that too. It's the little parts of the game where you go, Rodgers, no offense to you Packers fans, it's 3rd and 11. And he audibles out of the right play, audibles into the wrong play, and you're off the field. You don't know why you lose the NFC Championship. The other guy gets up there 3rd and 11, audibles into the right play, and converts equanimity under duress. It's the separator. It's invisible. No one sees it. No one knows what it is. It's the difference. So you need equanimity. Y'all with me on that? Say yes. You also need the power of one more. I'm writing a book right now that I really do believe is going to change the world called The Life-Changing Power of One More. There's a lot of different things I could say to you about doing one more rep in the gym, making one more phone call a day and stacking all that up, being a one more thinker. That's changed my life. I'm a one more thinker. I also get 3 days in one day. So I'm going to give you 2 gifts here. Number 1, the power of one more. If you add a one more multiplier to your organization, it will change everything. Maxwell calls it the law of the catalyst. You can't just be recruiting. You have to be looking for that one more special multiplier catalyst. I call it a rabbit. Someone that joins your team and everybody wants to chase after them. They set the pace, they set the culture, they set the intensity level. In every company I own, which is 23 of them right now, I am looking for one more multiplier people. Brady is a one more multiplier. Let me explain to you. Not just how he works, but it's how he works. It's not how... There's this legendary story going around the last few weeks that during Super Bowl week, Brady's up watching film at 1:30 in the morning, and he's texting the wide receivers at 1:30 in the morning saying, hey, 3rd and short, you can't run this route against this DB. 3rd and 8, this route works against him. Hey, 2nd and short, you can work this route against this DB, but if it's 2nd and long, you can't run this route against him. The level of precision and specificity that he brings to the organization that nobody else understands changes it. But he's a one more multiplier. So is LeBron James. Let me explain to you. When you add a one more multiplier, they infectiously help you magnetize and attract other people like them to your organization. You don't know why. I can't explain why. I think it's a vibrational frequency thing. But when I add these players, like if you added me to your team, you added me, you recruited me right now, I promise you, within 6 or 7 months, there's 4 or 5 mini-me's around that were never there before. Do you know that all 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl were scored by dudes that weren't on the team last year that Brady recruited personally? They get Brady, Gronk, AB, and Fournette. All came there because of Brady. One more players that join your team are multipliers for your organization. You can't just look to add people. You can't look to add vanilla generic humans. You need to be looking for one more multipliers. And when you're recruiting and messaging, say it. Because guys like me, when I'm sitting in front of an interview with me, and you say, let me tell you what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for dominators. I'm looking for people who want to be somebody. When you say that word to me, you're speaking my love language, man. But if you just give me your normal pitch, here's the package, here's the money, here's what you can make, that gets average, ordinary people to say yes. You must express outwardly what you're looking for when you're recruiting. Does that make sense to everybody? Say yes to that. You combine an evangelical message, being a great storyteller, and starting to express exactly what you're looking for and visualize that person. Are they a man or are they a woman? Are they short or are they tall? Are they minority or are they not? Do they have a military athletic background? What are you looking for? Not just people. You'll begin to attract to your organization the very people you look for if you're specifically looking for them. Make sense? Yes or no? Don't you want that person who's like, I don't even have to call this dude. I don't even call him. He's out there before me. I remember the first time my best guy ever made millions of dollars. I remember the first time we had a meeting and he picked up the chairs after the meeting. It was just a little thing. I was like, the meeting was over, and I always was the guy who folded all the chairs afterwards. I'll never forget his name's Dan Charlier, the dude that I talked about in his wedding. And he was a former drill instructor in the Marine Corps, carried the colors at the White House. He's a stud. Anyway, this dude picked up all the chairs after the meeting. I was like, I've been here 5 years. No one's ever picked up those chairs. I might have a one more multiplier. Turns out I did. And I had about 8 of him within about a year. And it made my organization go from a good company to a movement, to a cause, because I got one more multipliers. A couple more things I want to share. This is good stuff, by the way. I hope we got a recording of this. I think I want this one. All right, so a couple more things really quick, because I'm limited on time. I want to tell you a story about Ed Mylett. Not me. My old man. So there's 3 Ed Myletts. I'm Edward III. I have a grandfather, my dad. My dad just died just a few weeks ago. My dad fought cancer for about 9 years. Growing up, my dad was an alcoholic and would be gone. And it was a great, everything happens for you, not to you. The reason I have an ability to read people and to be present with them and to transfer energy with them is because when I was a 4-year-old boy with 3 little sisters, I had to read which dad was coming through the front door. Is this happy, sober dad who wants to play catch? Or is this drunk dad? By the way, I got so good at it, I could tell by how the keys hit the lock which dad was coming through. And then I knew how to change his energy. Little 4-year-old little me. So these things that happen to you in life are all blessings, even when they're horrible. I don't speak to you right now if my dad's not alcoholic. I can't give you that energy that you felt. if my dad didn't drink. I can't read you if my dad didn't drink. In fact, my career changed because my dad got sober, got me a job at his AA meeting because I was unemployed at an orphanage, and that orphanage changed my life because now I'm serving people first time in my life, and now I've been serving people the rest of my life. So it's crazy. My dad got me this job. My dad gets sober. I'm living at home on his couch. He goes, I got you a job. I'm sick of you eating out of the fridge. I'm like, I got a college degree. What exactly is this job? He's like, you don't get to choose, dude. You're going tomorrow morning. And it was called McKinley Home for Boys. It's an orphanage. I walk into cottage 8. It's 8 to 10-year-old boys. My boys were all either molested by their family, dad's incarcerated, or they're dead. And I became their father. I took them trick-or-treating. I was there Christmas Day. At 22 years old, that was my job. It changed my life because I went from being this ego-driven athlete to serving people. And I could connect with them because I had a dysfunctional family, right? And all these boys wanted was someone to love them, believe in them, care about them, and show them how to live better. You know what I do for a living now? I love people, I believe in them, I care about them, I show them how to live better. Every human being is just like my little boys. All the people that work for you, they want you to love them, care them, believe in them, show them how to live better. That's all everybody ever you meet wants. Love me, man, care about me, believe in me, show me how to do a little better. Business or life, that's all they ever want. So my dad's drinking was the ultimate blessing in my life, even though it was terrible as a child. So my dad got sober and became my best friend. It was really cool. I watched my dad have 2 lives. I watched the first 40 years of his life. My dad was a good man, just like a lot of you are, but living a bad way. Drinking, running around, probably doing all the stuff that comes with doing that. And then he got sober. And I watched him change his life. My dad's a humble man. And I didn't know this. My dad's sobriety was interesting. Just going to tell you this really quickly. My dad got sober, ironically, because he used to go to Hollywood to drink. So my dad went to an AA meeting where it was all famous people. But we lived 2 hours from there, which was the hood. So my dad would go to AA meetings in Hollywood with matter of fact, my dad's sponsor in AA is a very famous actor. And then my dad would come to the hood where we grew up and go to his AA meetings. And so my dad ended up, I didn't know this, but my dad for years helped people get sober quietly. 2 o'clock in the morning, a text, a lunch, a breakfast, anything he could ever do to just help another human being change their life. I never knew it because he would never tell me, didn't brag about it. When my dad died, he requested no funeral. Didn't want anybody talking about him. Plus it was COVID, but for years he didn't want one. But I got a call from the AA meeting my dad went to, and the guy said, we'd just like to honor your dad at a park. There'll be like 8 or 10 of us there. Would you come? I said, no, I'm not doing that. My dad said no. My wife said, you should just go. It's going to be 10 people. I show up to this park. Hundreds of people showed up. And they got up and said, we're here today to honor Ed Mylett. It's my own name. First dude walks up. He says, my name's Jerry. 34 years ago, Ed Mylett changed my life. I walked into a meeting. I had no hope. I thought I was going to die. This man grabs me and says, hey, let's have breakfast tomorrow morning. And he tells his story. Next guy gets up, big old Samoan dude. Said, I was incarcerated for 15 years. My best friend's Ed Mylett. He changed my life. Took every call, calls me every day, loves me, cares about me. Next guy gets up, very, very famous actor. Ed Mylett changed my life. I came to a meeting 17 years ago. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get from him, how many meetings we've had, how many times he's driven to see me when I was going to use again. Driven hours and hours. One time he drove to Sacramento, drove 7 straight hours to see me because I thought I was going to use. He said, I'll be there in a minute. 7 hours later, my dad showed up. And I watched this whole meeting of these people just parading through about how my dad changed their life. And my dad had lung cancer and a really bad form of tumors wrapped all around his organs. And so my dad fought this for like 9 years. And the last time he went into the hospital, my dad finally called me and said, I want you to come get me. Except he didn't talk like that. My dad was down to about 10 breaths a minute. So my dad's voice was my voice. In fact, if you called his phone number right now, that voicemail's still on there, my dad's voice. But my dad would talk like this in the hospital. I need you to come get me. I would say, Dad, they'll give you another steroid shot. You need to fight this again. This is my dad's life for months. Now, I'm going to tell you what he said in my voice because it'll take too long. He said, I'm going to die in 2 days. I fought this for 9 years. I did this for your mom, you and your sisters, and the grandchildren. I'm going to be gone in 2 days. I would like to die in my home with you and the sisters there. Come get me. I said, Dad. He says, I'm serious. I called his doctor. He goes, I'd get him home. I get my dad home. He's in his living room. I was with my dad when he passed away, so were my sisters. An hour before my dad died, an hour before, So when you're dying this way, just so you know, they count your breaths. So my dad had gone from 50 breaths a minute to 20 to 10, some minutes 5, some minutes 3. Got to the point a couple hours before my dad died that he had a minute with no breaths. And so they took his pulse. He had no pulse. And then he would breathe again for a minute. And so it took a long time. And my dad was really running out of breath. He was basically suffocating to death. And I tell you this because we thought he was gone, and he came back, and then he had a couple half-hour windows of like 40 breaths a minute. His phone keeps ringing. He's got oxygen. He goes, Debbie, who's calling me? And she says, it's 909-524. And he goes, answer it. My dad's got 2 hours left. Answer it. She says, no, I'm not answering it. He says, grab it. He knew who it was, and he knew that was someone who needed him. And my mother handed him the phone. Hello. Hello. On morphine, drooling, oxygen, pulls it out. Hello. Bernardo. You can do this. And I watched him for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. My dad talked this dude off the ledge and changed his life. Bernardo was the last speaker at that service I went to a week later. So in my dad's last minutes of his life, my dad was still changing people's lives, was still making a difference in the world. The reason I tell you that story is not to applaud for my dad. I tell you that story because who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when there's no incentive for you? My dad doesn't get any credit for that. He had no idea I was going to tell this story. In fact, he'd be embarrassed if I did. Who are you when nobody's watching? What's the real difference you make in the world? Who are you really as a man or a woman or as a young man over there? Who are you really trying to make? Is it really who you are? Because I get a lot of credit. I don't hold a candle to that guy. Who are you really? In quiet moments when human beings need you, are you that person they can rely on? Are you that person who steps up? Are you that person who makes a difference for them? Because you can win in big ways, mansions, jets. I know all about that stuff. It's awesome. I want you to have them. But I'll submit to you, it's the small things you do that no one will ever probably know you did that'll be the things that'll make you the most proud of you, that'll make God the most proud of you, that will ultimately be the definition of who you are as a man or a woman. It's who you are in those moments. You can applaud for that. And so, for me, my daughter's always teasing me, Dad, you're in a midlife crisis. I'm like, you're damn right I'm in a midlife crisis. I've been in a crisis all my life to get to the next version of myself. When Max was 6 years old, we go to this car wash. And every week there'd be this old man there reading this newspaper. But he was there all the time. When I drive by the car wash, like I was there like every day. And he says to me once, he goes, how old's your little boy? I said, he's 6. He says, hey, like all parents, he goes, enjoy the 6-year-old, because when they turn 7, that 6-year-old's gone forever. We can all relate to that as parents. He goes, and when he turns 8, the 7-year-old's gone forever. I said, sir, that's so true. When did that stop for you? He goes, excuse me? I said, what age did that stop, the new person shows up for you? Pulls the paper down, he goes, I don't know. I said, you ought to look into that. And I told little Max in the car, I said, that's never happening to me. The 30-year-old, when he turns 31, that 30-year-old's going to be gone forever. When that 35-year-old turns 36, that 35-year-old's gone for freaking ever, and there's a better version of me. When I'm 45 and I turn 46, that 45-year-old dude's gone. There's a new man there, a better man, a stronger man, a more influential man, a kinder man, a more peaceful man. And when I turn 50 this next month, I want this 49-year-old dude you're listening to right now, he's already on his way out. And I want to challenge you to do that, because ultimately to me, when we die, I think we go to heaven. And to me, you can live in heaven or hell the rest of your life. See, when I'm done, I want the Lord to go, hey, well done, good and faithful servant. I know for a fact they said that to my old man. Let me say, I want them to say that to me. But I think there's one other thing that happens. I'll leave you with this. I think God introduces you to the woman or man you were born to be or could have been. The one he made in his image and likeness. The one he thought you were capable of. The destiny version of you. The one that they go, hey, these are the places you could have gone, the things you could have seen, the memories you could have had, the people you could have helped, the difference you could have made, the emotions you could have felt, the moments. That's who you were capable of being. And to me, I'm chasing that dude. I'm running him down. And that's why we got to change every single year. Because when I die, I want to meet that dude. And he goes, hey, man, been watching you. Proud of you, brother. You caught me. I go, I've been chasing your ass all my life. That's the dude I'm capable of being. That's who I'm running down. I'm not running you down, or you down, or you down, and neither are you. You're running down the man You could be. The people you could have helped, the difference you could have made, the places you could have gone, the emotions you could have had, the memories you could have with your family. Of all my memories with my father, my most precious one I just shared with you. And it was in the last 2 hours of his life, and it wasn't planned, and it wasn't a vacation, and it cost no money. I'm the most proud of my dad in that moment, right? And I say to you, heaven is you meet that person and you're identical twins. Hell is you end up meeting that dude someday and you're total strangers. You didn't go down the road. You didn't make the difference. You didn't do the hard things. You didn't make the sacrifices. You didn't grow. You didn't improve yourself. That's hell, and you live with that forever. See, I said earlier, time is running out on you. We're here for a flicker, man. This life's a flicker. It was like yesterday I gave my dad that coffee cup when he was 40 years old. It was yesterday I gave my first speech. It was yesterday I was in that Velcroed Mercedes. It was like yesterday. Now balling around on some jet, my dreams are all held together with Velcro just like yours will be. It's all tenuous. It's all fleeting. We can make them all happen. But the idea I want for you is I want you to go to heaven when you die. Does that make sense? All right, hope it changed your life. Max out. All right, thank you.